An alpha is confident, disciplined, focused. They take charge and lead. Raising an alpha means developing basic traits and qualities. Alpha instincts. Taking care of the ones you love and looking after the ones you protect. We make decisions to inspire others, command our troops from the front lines. These make up strong alphas. We are persistent, patient, respectful. We have the ability to communicate well, to strive for the best, to win. We raise them to win. This is the Raising Alphas Project.
Well, hello everyone. Steve Davis here for another Raising Alphas Project. I've got my partner over to the left of me, David Panzik. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. So we are on to another episode of Raising Alphas. This is Season 1.
Episode 7?
Believe it is
7. I want to say 7.
I want to say 7 or 6.
Thinking 7.
7. We're going to go with 7 because we're not keeping track very well.
And if we're wrong, we're just going to say it's episode 7.
You guys leave us a message in the comments and tell us that we are got to pay attention. After setting this all up this morning, we are trying to keep track of everything, and that is something that we're just going to do a better job of. So, welcome to the Raising Alphas Project. Again, your hosts here, Steve Davis and David Panzik. A couple topics that we're going to be speaking about today is how our society is brainwashing our kids, and so we're going to go into a couple examples with that. But David and I have just recently spoke on a podcast with Brittany Jones.
Yeah. All My Favorite People podcast.
We just did that. That was aired on Friday, September 16th.
16th, yes.
And we've got a lot of views on that so far, so we're hoping to see what it brings us after that comes. This is obviously going to be aired later on, probably about a week from now, because we got another episode, our season 1 episode 6, if we're right, came out. It should be out hopefully this weekend. We got to get with the company and make sure that they're tracking. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with some of the topics, how our society is brainwashing our kids. So those of you that know David and I, we are big fans of the Karate Kid. We're big fans of the most recent spinoff.
Let's pause right there. If you're not a fan of the Karate Kid, what are you even doing with your life?
You know, it's funny is I've had debates with people that I used to work with, and they've actually said that that is an old, outdated video or film, and we've got into it. And then when I told them that I watched Cobra Kai, and they were saying, "You watched that?" And I'm like,
yeah.
You have no idea how great this show is. It really takes you back, those of us in my era, it really takes you back to Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. And
it's classic, man.
Mr. Miyagi,
I mean, it's one of those timeless 80s movies. They're never going to age perfectly. They're always going to be outdated, but it's cheesy.
It's probably one of my favorite films, all the series, Karate Kid, the original, obviously Karate Kid when he goes over to Okinawa.
Yeah, 2.
And then
3 dropped off, was a big drop off.
It was a little bit with the badass.
Yeah, with Terry Silver.
Till he's
and
Terry Silver.
Bad boy of karate, Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes,
yeah.
So, anyways, I really enjoy, David and I really enjoy Cobra Kai. The new season came out, and that's kind of what inspired this episode of how society is brainwashing our kids. So we're going to kind of go into Cobra Kai and what we saw in the film as we watched it. We basically binged it over the weekend as soon as it came out, and just binged it right away. But like I said, I'm a huge fan of Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. My son's name is Kai.
Works well. That was on purpose.
It works well.
The soccer team, strikers,
strike first, strike hard is our motto.
But it's spelled with a Y.
It's spelled with a My soccer team, we're the strikers, and I I did get some inspiration from Cobra Kai with Strike First, Strike Hard. So, those that know me know that I'm kind of surrounded by the the Karate Kid.
Absolutely.
I used to have one of those little bands.
Yeah, who didn't?
Yeah.
At what point growing up, who didn't?
I had the blue.
That?
I had a blue and a red one. I think my brother wore the red one.
And one thing about me, like I'm a big movie guy. I like my shows, but like I grew up watching movies. Like there's movies that I'll have like a passion for, where that's just a phenomenal movie. There are movies where everyone can't agree that may be a bad movie, but I still may find it's a bad movie, but I can enjoy it.
Yep.
I'm not going to say that should have won an Oscar. That is an amazing person, but like that was an enjoyable movie, and that's what movies right now, they're supposed to be. Enjoyable. It's supposed to take you on a journey.
Take you on a journey, kind of eliminate some of the day-to-day stuff that you go, kind of get you into a fantasy.
Also, kind of like how sporting events used to be.
Sporting events used to be where you go there, you watch a bunch of guys hit each other playing football. Yeah. Now it's whether or not they stand or kneel for the flag. And why is this such a thing now?
I don't know, dude.
I don't even know. I don't even know that there is people, if the television, if the channels and networks even air the national anthem.
I don't know. I don't watch it.
I don't watch it anymore either. I watch college football. I got to watch my team play. So I'm a huge Gators fan. So I'll watch the Gators play, but I don't really watch football like I used to.
No, they have completely lost interest.
Yeah, I had a phone conversation earlier this morning because I'm trying to upgrade my TV, my Spectrum package, just for the so I could watch the Gators because it's on the SEC network.
Yeah,
and so I call him and I say, hey, can I upgrade this? And the guy's like, well, it's part of the select package, and it's going to cost you an additional $54. Then we charge you like a $25 broadcasting fee. And I was like, listen, guy, I only want to watch this one game. I don't care about any of this other package. I don't watch TV. I don't watch this. You know what? Never mind. I'll find it. I will go
you can
buy
stream
dinner
it somewhere. 100%.
I can stream it. I can find it somewhere else. I was like, I'm not paying that kind of money.
Yeah.
Anyways. We're totally getting off topic, so let's get down to it. Topics again. We're talking about brainwashing our kids. How society is brainwashing our kids, and David and I have spoke about this frequently now, and it is something that is coming on in our schools. It is happening in our sporting events, and that's why we kind of segued away. The NFL, the college football, some of the collegiate sports, those things are taking our children and they are brainwashing them, and not with good moral values.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that we're talking about is teachers. We'll begin with the teachers, and we've spoken about teachers, but we've recently seen
this isn't all teachers by any means.
No, no.
There are very good teachers out there that are doing what they intend to do.
My grandmother was a school teacher. My mother was a school teacher. Yeah. My aunt, she homeschooled all three of her kids. So it is in my family. While I'm a fireman, I still am a teacher because I am constantly teaching new firemen, new recruits as they come in to the department. So I would consider myself a teacher as well. Some sort of, when we call it an instructor or an adjunct or something like that. But it's still an educator. So by no means is this an attack on those who give instructions to others. I'm surrounded by it. I'm very thankful.
Still very good teachers out there. Still teachers that see that value of being in the classroom with the kids, not wearing masks. Like, you need to see me speak these things to you. We cannot be covered up all the time.
Correct. But that's exactly what we're talking. We're more aimed at those teachers who are putting out these disgusting things on social medias, and brainwashing our kids to think that they are something else, to think that they are a boy who thinks they're a girl who thinks they're a boy. It's not right. These getting them involved with some of these things at such an early age is insane. Discussing things like maps.
Yeah.
Explain to everybody what maps is, Dave.
Well, it's a more what's the word I'm looking for? More appropriate term for a pedophile. MAPS, it is minor attracted persons. That, I mean, pedophile's a pedophile, bro.
You're a pedophile.
So, I mean, when you have these people, we need to start really just calling them out. They need to be shamed and just, yeeted out of classrooms, or just yeeted out of society altogether. Because when you have a society that doesn't shame these degenerate acts, they not only pollute themselves, but everyone around them. Where in this instance, you're molding these young minds who are extremely impressionable to think, oh, so being fat is healthy. Okay, that's cool. No, I don't call them pedophiles. We call them MAPS, and that's okay. They can't help that. All right, okay. I could either be a male if I want to, or I can be a female if I want to. That's completely up to me. That when you have people molding those young minds that think like that, that's a society that's on the brink of destruction.
Yeah, you're right. I saw a video, a guy I follow on YouTube, guy I follow on Twitter. His name's Adam Francisco. He's a local guy here, but he's been up in New York, and he's out there waving his Trump flag. Very big Trump supporter. What does he call him? He's a Jewish Mexican, I think is what he's always talking about. Great videos. Every time I've been watching them for a little while. Great videos, but he's up in New York, and he gets heckled while he's walking around with his Trump flag, and someone calls him a racist. Now,
based on what?
Based on the fact that he's carrying a flag, a Trump 2024 flag.
Well, why is Trump racist though? Surely he's done something racist.
Right, but that's the brainwashing that's in our society. It's brainwashing not only at the children's at our children's age, but all the way up through adults seeking in their.
I mean that's college. Those are universities. That's campus. You may be legally an adult at 18, but you don't stop growing when you hit 18.
Right.
I mean, I'm still growing.
Yeah.
I'm still learning different things. And we've talked about this before. When you have the kids that go off to these universities right now, these indoctrination camps, that don't have that strong foundation in the household to fall back on, they are going to be 100% molded to think what that professor tells them to think. They're not being told how to think. Or one thing that Crowder likes to do when he does is change my minds. I love watching those, because he's not throwing insults at people. He's not telling people this is what you need to think. He's asking questions. He's like, okay, well, you think that, why do you think that?
Right.
And that's not something that they talk about in universities anymore. They don't talk about why. They talk about, this is what you need to stay within this box, and if you're outside this box, then you just must be a racist.
Right. Well, what was funny about what Adam had done is as he's walking in, this guy walks by and he calls him a racist, and his first response was like, well, you're a pedophile. So he just responds, well, you're a pedophile. He's like, yeah, I can throw the same derogatory remarks at you, but that's where we've come in our society today. And we've got to get back to, a more, cohesive type of, world, where we're working together.
Well, it's divide and conquer. This is all intentional.
Oh yeah,
this is 100% intentional, and you have people like us. Not everybody on the right by any means, but more often on the right, you're going to see find people that see that this is all intentional. This is divide and conquer tactic that started with the whole shutdowns and the COVID and the mask and the vaccinations and the these unvaccinated people. They are unclean. They are going to get everybody sick. They need to be away from everybody. You cannot attend these events. Everything is done with a purpose right now. Nothing about this is accidental.
This has been going on for a long time. We talked about this on Brittany's podcast the other day, that this is something that's been going on for probably decades. We kind of transition. We're kind of transitioning away from the conversation, but we were talking specifically about how COVID, the vaccinations are a part of a master plan, and that this started. Probably at 9/11, there's some conspiracy theories there, and maybe one day we'll talk about that. That's not really what our show is about, but
that's going to be an episode with cigars and whiskey.
Yeah, right. So we were kind of talking about that, how this has happened on, but this is exactly what has been going on. When we talk specifically about our kids, we are talking about how they've been brainwashed for years. Now it could be looked at in a lot of different ways. When I went into the army, I could say that those drill sergeants, in a way, brainwashed my platoon, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you a killer. That's what the military's for. It's for war. It's for battle. And so when I went through I was in an infantry type of basic training up in Fort Benning, Georgia, and we talked about killing the enemy. That is what was ingrained into my mind as a young man, as just out of high school, 18 years old, going in, and now my new influence is my 3 drill sergeants. I'll never forget them. I always tell people that I'm afraid of 3 men: Drill Sergeant Zahn, Drill Sergeant Mitchell, and Drill Sergeant Williamson. Those are the 3 men that I'm only afraid of, and nobody else. But those 3 guys, I remember to this day. I've got my class photo, my graduation photo, sitting up in my office at work, and those 3 men, while I joke to say that they're probably the most scariest men I've ever met, they're also probably someone that gave me a good strong foundation as I was getting out into the real world. Mm-hmm. But you could say that they kind of, in a way, brainwashed me and the rest of my platoon, because they are making killers out of us. That's what their job was to do. And they were doing that. I think the oldest guy in our platoon, and we always joked with him, we called him the old man, 25 years old.
Wow. Wow.
He was the old man. I remember thinking about I remember his name was Dan. I can't remember his last name. But Dan, I remember Dan being so old at 25. And, I look back, I'm like, dang, that's when I started the fire service.
Man.
25 years old. I was a young dude. When 25-year-olds come on now, I'm like, you're a kid.
Jeez.
And guys used to say that about us.
Put this mind in my 25-year-old body. You couldn't stop me.
Yeah, right. But kind of where we're going with that is, teachers are a huge influence. Coaches are a huge influence. David and I see that when we're out there coaching soccer. We see those things. And that's exactly when, and we're not brainwashing the kids. We're trying to motivate them and send them on a direction that will be beneficial to them. They'll have the advantage growing up is working hard, doing the right thing, having good moral values. Those
feeling good about winning, being addicted to that winning feeling, wanting to do that again, whether it's for another sports team that you're playing for, or whether it's just succeeding in life.
Sure. I heard I'm talking about a lot of things that I listen to, but the guys on the podcast that I was listening to, they were not saying that they listen to us, not yet, but they were saying this is a newer episode that they just came out with, and it was something that we had just said in our previous podcast. They were looking at these things as well, that we don't go into a sporting event, any type of game, and say, you know what, let's lose today. We don't go into the office today and see what can I do to not win. Mm-hmm. I want to find ways to win, and that's really why we take that stance of winning. Is not everything, but it is a way. It's maybe we are brainwashing the kids in a sense that we want them to win, but we want them to be successful.
Sure.
So, teachers, coaches, all very big influence, and then karate instructors. So I'm going to segue to Cobra Kai.
Terry Silver.
So I was watching Cobra Kai over the weekend, and I came across...
Spoiler alerts, maybe? Spoiler alerts?
Yeah, maybe I should put that out there. Spoiler alert. Well, I'm not really giving up anything.
No, okay.
I'm not giving up
no story. All right, we're good.
I'm not giving
just
a storyline.
Just a line.
Just a
here
line.
And there. Okay.
So Terry Silver is one of the main characters in Cobra Kai's.
The villain from Karate Kid 3.
The villain from Karate Kid 3. Yep. He's back, so if you haven't started the show, if you're not even in season 1, then he won't be there. I think he comes along in season 2 or 3. Somewhere in there.
We're in 5 right now, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, Terry Silver is having a discussion with Johnny Lawrence, and Johnny is the villain in Karate Kid. the kid that Daniel LaRusso is fighting.
The one that LaRusso bullied.
What's that?
The one that LaRusso bullied as a kid.
The one that LaRusso bullied as a kid. I agree with that. So Johnny Lawrence and Terry Silver are having a discussion, and he says there's a difference between, he says, I understand how important the next generation is. Everything I do is for the future, for their mind, for theirs, and for mine. So basically what he's referencing that what he's giving them, the stuff that he tells them, he has taken over Cobra Kai, and he's brainwashing these kids to do things to other kids, to manipulate these kids and bully these kids while they're in school, and he's teaching these things, and that's part of the Cobra Kai way. And so that's what he understands, that in order to get the next generation, he has to get them while they're young. And Johnny Lawrence's his son, I broke that up. So there's a little bit of spoiler. That's nothing. That's he walks into the dojo, and he says he says something to the group of friends that's in the Cobra Kai dojo, and he says says something like, I should have took you with me, guys, when I left. But he basically says, Terry Silver goes, there's a difference between being heard and being listened to. And that's an important thing as well, is there is a difference between being heard and being listened to. And this is what is happening in our schools, is you have these evils that are giving instructions to our children, and our kids are not just hearing it, they're listening to it, and they're acting upon these things, these horrible things. They're being put into situations with older men or older women, and they're now being molested, or they're being exposed in some way, and this is what's happening. And in order for us to protect them as fathers, as mothers, we have got to be paying attention. And this is why the Raising Alphas project is about being involved in your kids' lives, seeing what they do. We find, our kids that, kids are constantly on their social media. If they're on social medias, on their cell phones, they're
exposed to things they should not be exposed to.
They're getting messages like my kids, I allow them to play some video games. It's very limited. My boys love Roblox.
Okay.
Not real familiar with Roblox.
It's a kid thing though.
It's a kid thing but it's open to the internet, and so I constantly have to monitor it. But they constantly get friend requests by, I don't know who this person is. I go in there, I delete it. I go and I monitor it all the time. And I've already given instruction to both the boys that if anything comes up like this, you ignore, and then you tell me. And they're good about it.
Yeah.
And I monitor it very, very frequently. Not that they're on it a whole lot, but those are things that we have to be concerned about.
Yeah. Well, that's going back on as far as like movies. Like, I'm a big movie guy. I grew up watching a lot of movies. One that came out, I was in college, so I want to say mid 2000s or mid early, 2005, 2006. Jet Li movie called Unleashed. Again, one of those, not a great movie by any means, not an award-winning movie, but one that I could enjoy. It's one that I could thoroughly enjoy.
I mean, it's Jet Li.
It's Jet Li, yes. Well, what can go wrong? Bad acting, maybe, but you're going to get some great fights in it. Yeah. So, in this, if you don't know this movie, so Jet Li plays an adult male who, at a young age, was taken from his mom by, I don't know, it was some sort of like mafia boss. And he was manipulated throughout his life to be a fighter, to be a stone cold killer for him. And the way that he trained him like a dog. So when he would go to these deals, like these drug deals or gun deals, whatever they were at this time, he would have a collar around Jet Li's character. And when something went wrong and he needed Jet Li to take action to start going after these guys, he would take the collar off, and that was Jet Li's cue where he would just be unleashed like a dog and go after him. And one line that stood out from that movie that I still remember very vividly, what the mafia boss says was, like my old mom always said, get them while they're young and the possibilities are endless. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And I mean, you're talking about with your kid playing the video games, but you're monitoring, you're checking on everything. Right. I mean, cold facts, man. most parents don't put that time and energy into parenting, teaching, investing into their children, or checking up on things such as that. It's way too easy to let the TV or the the iPad, the video games companies parent, or in this category, just brainwash your kids by default. It's very easy to just let that happen,
Yeah.
without you paying attention or being aware of everything.
Right. It's very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it could happen. It could happen at any point. If you're a parent who drops your kid off, I know my oldest, when he was in kindergarten and first grade, he would we would put him in before and after care, and that's just because of my wife and our schedule. So we had no other option at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember pulling up, and my son was sitting with what appeared to be probably a middle school kid, and my kid is 5, 6, at the time, and so now he's sitting with a kid who's probably double his age, and maybe a little bit younger, maybe
Mm-hmm.
10, but he goes. He's sitting on a big iPad, and they're playing a game, and obviously I can't see it from the truck, so
sure.
I question it, and when he gets in the truck, and I say, "Hey man, what are you playing?" He's a little reluctant to tell me because I think he knows where I stood, even today. But he goes, "Oh, I was just playing a game," and I said, "Yeah, describe it. You're not gonna get in trouble. Just explain to me what the
Mm-hmm.
game is." And obviously it was I don't know the name of the game, but it was similar to that of Modern Warfare, or
Fortnite.
Fort.
Probably a Fortnite
I
game
couldn't
with a
tell
kid,
you,
yeah.
but something that I don't want my kids to be watching right
Mm-hmm.
now. It's just something that that's my own personal
Mm-hmm.
take on it. Other parents have different beliefs, but that's my personal opinion. Is my kids don't watch that, and so I just don't want them exposed to it right now, and at that time too. And so, but those are the things. Is obviously, as a father, I'm never going to be able to control everything that my son gets into and is around. He's gonna be exposed to it, but I do my best to try to pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to those things. So that's what's important.
And you want to teach them too, to know that I'm not going to be there all the time. You are going to be put in situations where something's wrong.
Right,
You should know to walk away from it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So one thing that we wanted to talk about today that just recently came to our attention was in California, the beautiful and just fantastic state of California, Kami Cali. So they recently passed a bill, SB 107. California legislature passes this bill, SB 107, giving courts authority to take custody from parents of minors seeking transgender treatments. Bill has passed. It's just sitting on Gavin Newsom's desk, and it's up to him whether he's going to sign this bill or not. I'm willing to bet he will. How do you feel about something like that, Steve?
Well, I think in a kid's age that they shouldn't be exposed to these type of things. I don't think teachers should be talking about this.
It's not controversial.
Yeah, it shouldn't be on a governor's desk at all.
No.
And the fact that this is going into a governor's desk, that he's signing that this is okay, to me is just, to me it's our world, our country is turning into a different type of way of thinking. Why do we subject our children to things like this? There's no reason.
There is one reason, and it's so the parents can, post pictures, say how tolerant they are, get
Yeah.
those social media points, get their likes, get their comments, get their shares, get the articles written. That's all that's for. Kids don't know anything.
Right.
They don't know any better. I could tell them, 2 + 2 = chair, and they'd be like, "What?
Yeah.
That's crazy."
Telling
So
you, it's 2 + 2 is chair.
2 + 2 is chair. Kids are, and I mean, kids are weird grown up. We joked about this the other night, not too long ago. I think that last time we were out at the London house, we were talking about something like this. My oldest, 8 years old, he's a magnet for girls right now, and I joke with him all the time. I'm like, hey dude, here's your girlfriend, and he just gets all shy, like, I don't have a girlfriend. Like, no, I don't have a girlfriend. And if you were to ask him, like, do you like girls, he's gonna tell me no. My immediate thought isn't to say, well, I guess I'm just go get him gender reassignment surgery.
So he's a boy.
Yeah. No,
All right, so he likes boys.
Yeah, so he must just like boys. I guess that's the whole thing. He is trapped in another person's body.
Right.
This kid doesn't know. I was his age. It's like, obviously girls have cooties. No.
Yeah.
I don't want cooties. Are you out of your mind? No, I don't like girls.
And that's kind of the big thing is, why are doctors are okay with this? Why are doctors okay with, like, oh, this kid's an 8-year-old. Let's go ahead and take his male parts away.
Yeah.
Or a young lady who is now developing, and now we're cutting into her,
and you call these completely irreversible medications.
Right.
Everything's just 100% safe and completely 100% irreversible, which is immediately for me. If you tell me something is 100% safe, red flag.
Automatic red flag. But these are the things that are brainwashing. I had a conversation with a parent of mine last week, and he was telling me about one of his kids, and just saying, that there is some, what is it, the attention deficit disorder?
Yeah.
So it's those things, and we were talking about, like, don't put him on medication, and he was like, oh no, I totally agree with that. And what we're finding out with some of these antidepressants, with some of these medications that kids are getting put on early on,
the long-term effects are just not
the
learning about
long-term
them.
effects is what we're seeing right now.
Yep.
That's why we're seeing so many people just, like, losing their mind when a presidential candidate loses, screaming and crying in the streets, and just,
and I think,
David, I don't remember you doing that this last year in 2020.
No, well, I woke up that morning and I was like, well, that seems fishy from when I went to bed last night. But let's see how this plays out. But I'm gonna go to work.
We should go have a cry party.
Let's go have a cry party. I could use a good cry party.
Okay.
But I went to work.
So did I. Oh, well, yeah. But that's what we're seeing is the effects of some of these medications, and going back to the transitioning, they're medically and chemically castrating, young
mutilation.
boys.
It's mutilating them. Yeah.
We're not going to go and say, hey, look, I don't think that I should have a right hand. Let me cut it off. Hey, doc, can you cut off my right hand? Even though this is the one I use to write with, cut my right hand off. We're not saying those things, but we're saying let's cut off a young boy's genitalia,
cut off a breast of a young girl,
a young girl. Those things, and then, like, putting in hormones that is going to go against your brain's natural response. Your brain is saying, no, you're a boy. It's producing these. It's telling your body to produce more testosterone, or less this and less and more of that.
Yeah.
And we're putting chemicals in there to reverse that. That's why there's this imbalance. And so you're constantly just putting more into your system, and that's wrong.
So when it comes to that community, that transgender community, here's how I stand on it. I don't agree with it. But I think that when you are legally an adult, and if that is something that you choose to do, bro, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
Do you. Don't expect taxpayers to fund any of this. Pay for this yourself. Get this done. But having parents sign off on their children doing this, or even having
be illegal.
Those parents should be thrown in jail. Having California pass this SB 107 to where the state can take that child away from you if you have a mindset like ours, like, no, we're not doing this for you. That's psychotic, bro.
It is
and
psychotic.
That's where I start really having a problem with this. But again, if you're an adult and you want to do this, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, bro. If it makes you happy, if it makes you happy.
I work with people.
Yeah.
I have no issues.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you start forcing this on the youth that's when it becomes a problem. So speaking of brainwashing youth, one thing that I want to harp on right here is you have the minority community. They are being told right now that as young kids, you can't do things because of the color of your skin. You can't do things because there is an evil invisible boogeyman that is always going to keep you down or continue to make sure that you fail at everything in life. What is that doing to that generation? You know, you have them growing up now. There may be jobs that they're not applying for, maybe classes that they're not taking, skills that they're not learning, or even, you know, places not experiencing or visiting because they think in their mind that they aren't allowed to. There's no point in me doing this. I'm never going to succeed in this anyways. How many engineers are we missing? How many engineers do you think, how many kids that could have grown to be great things could have been engineers, you know, inventors? We all have individual problems growing up. No life is going to be perfect regardless the color of your skin. Your problems are not unique. Someone throughout the history of the world has had the same problems as you, or even worse, and still went on to do great things. You know, are you going to sit here and just let somebody tell you that because of the color of your skin you can't do something, or are you going to shove it in their face?
You referenced minority communities with being brainwashed by their parents in a negative way, and you referenced engineers, for example. My 7-year-old wants to be an engineer, and now while we have a very nice home and my wife and I have done very well, my wife was very poor, probably more impoverished than anybody in the United States. She came from a third world country. Now I met her when I was stationed in Germany, and she wasn't there at that moment. But she's told me stories of her growing up, and she had a very close family. But we raise our boys to be whatever they want to be. My son wants to be an astronaut, engineer. You know, they're 7 and 5, so they go back and forth.
Of course.
But my point is
to be a
that
cowboy.
My point is that you reference minority communities talking about, you know, or you're never going to be able to do that because of the color of your skin. You won't be able to do this or this and that, but that's incorrect. Not what you were saying, but for what parents that might be advertising this to their young children, how many kids that are currently in the NFL today came from poverty?
Most?
A lot.
I want to guess.
A lot.
I don't know the numbers, but I want to say a good
How
amount.
many from the NBA have come from poverty?
I want to say most.
I don't know I don't know the numbers.
It is not easy to get to either of
But
those
were
leagues.
those parents saying they could never be an engineer because of the color of skin, but they said that you could absolutely be the best basketball player in the NBA or the best NFL player in a pro league, you know, in the league? Those same parents? We are not. What I'm saying is we're not doing that when it comes to sports, but we're doing that when it comes to education. You know, if you want to be an attorney, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an engineer, you have to apply yourself. You have to be successful. You have to work hard. Larry Elder talks about it all the time, that work hard leads to success. You know, he talks about it all the time, and how that's what his father, he developed a relationship with his father after many, many years of not speaking to him. And his father worked hard to be successful. And in order to be successful, you must work hard. Whether it's day in, day out in the grind in a new podcast that we're doing, or in a sport, in some sort of sport, or in some sort of school or music instrument or something. You know, you don't just pick up the guitar and just become the best lead guitar player for a band like Metallica. You know, you don't become the next Kirk Hammett.
I would have used Guns N' Roses as a reference, but
well,
okay. But okay.
You make Guns N' Roses.
Slash.
I grew up. I'm a huge Metallica fan, so I'm a huge Metallica fan. So that's who I would have gone with.
Okay.
But you know, learning how to play the piano. My son plays the piano, and my oldest son plays the piano. I was taught when I was growing up. I was given piano classes, piano lessons. And now I didn't stick with it. Now I'm 40 years old and I don't know how to play the piano, but I'm watching my son learn how to play the piano. And with him, I encourage him to play the piano. And I Not only do I want him to be a successful athlete, I want him to be a successful pianist or some type of musician. But I also want him to do well in school. He loves math right now. I don't know if that's going to stay on, but he reads. We read with him. Those are things. It's very balanced. And as a father, as my wife, as his to be his mother is his mother. We encourage our children to be strong, not just in an athletic side of thing, but also intellect, and other talents. To try to develop some skills and talents, and those are things that we are trying to encourage. So to say that our kids can't do something based on the color of their skin or where they grew up, like I just mentioned,
you're damaging them.
You're damaging them. You are not allowing them to succeed or to meet their true potential in life. My parents never told me that I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They never did. They 100% supported my decisions, especially as I started growing up. When I made the decision to go into the military, I was a very good soccer player. I probably could have gone it to the next level had I put more focus on that level. I probably could have. Now, I went into the military. Didn't think I had anything else to do because I just didn't know any better. I think, I don't fault my parents for that. I think that they didn't know, they didn't have the resources that there is out there today, but it gave me a strong foundation. My battle buddy, when I went in, my buddy Shannon, he and I talk about it because we didn't come from very wealthy families, but we talked about how the service changed our lives to think differently, in a sense. And so, no, I don't agree with parents that would discourage their children on not being able to be an engineer or be, something better. When I went to the Army, be all you can be was the motto, was the slogan. Be all you can be, and that's exactly what I still strive to do.
Now that motto is make sure you get my pronouns right.
Yeah. I'm not in anymore.
Well, one thing that we need to teach this next generation coming up, regardless of color, white, black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter, but they need to know that nothing in life worth having is going to come easy to you, no matter what goals you have in your life. There's I want to say his name is Les Miles, Les Miles. I want to say that's his name, motivational speaker. I remember.
You're talking about Les Miles from LSU?
No, I'm probably getting the name wrong, but I feel like that was it. I'm probably getting it wrong, but
the coach for LSU?
No, not at all.
All right,
not at the very least. So he does a few motivational videos, and one of them that he referenced to is an old African proverb that in life is going to knock you down. That's not him, so it's probably not who I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Life is going to knock you down, but if you can look up, you can get up. Right.
Okay.
So stuff is not going to go your way. You may make an investment into a business and it may fail. All right.
Right.
How are you going to react to it? Are you going to continue to push? Are you going to continue to strive for your goal, or are you going to sit back and be like, this failed because of privileges that I do not have? That's just it. How are you going to respond to failure? And we talked about that on a previous one with the competition, but it still applies to this. How are you going to respond to that?
When we tell our kids in soccer, if you fall down,
I'm gonna look up that guy's name. I'm gonna find it.
When we every time I go out to the soccer field, I practice something with the boys and girls that are out there. I say, all right, everybody down on the ground. I put them face down in a prone position, and I have them looking up. I blow the whistle, and I tell them to get up as fast as they can and start running. And I blow the whistle again. I say, get down. Okay. The idea, the purpose of this drill is once they get down, they get back up, and it's supposed to be a quick reaction. And so when you fall on the soccer field, you get back up and continue going. Now, this is pretty unheard of in the sport of soccer, and this is what drives me nuts about soccer. Even though I've been playing it for 35 years, I still play it to today. Soccer players are by far the biggest floppers, and it drives me nuts.
I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to say LeBron James is just the biggest flopper.
But you're right. He's probably a previous soccer player like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
But soccer players flop just as much as Kobe Bryant combined, and it's unfortunate because the dude is huge. he wasn't like that when he first started playing, and that's what's irritating, is because he would go in there as a bull, and now he throws himself around. But my point is that what I hate about that idea of just falling, flopping, is that you have to get back up, and that is exactly what we do in life. Is once you fall, you get back up. Failure is an option. It's not the option that I want to seek out. It's an option, and it's an option because it happens.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's
regardless. It's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
What are you going to learn?
Failure is going to happen, but the thing is what you do after you fail. It's how you succeed around that hurdle, around that obstacle. You have to get back up. When you fall, you get back up, and those are the things that we teach our young children. That's what we are striving to do with raising alphas and getting parents to engage in these type of conversations, to not only say can be whatever you want to be and to be all you can be, but to succeed into life, to whatever is out there. I'm a man of many trades. I do firefighting is my main trade, but now I'm working on being a podcaster and a public speaker, starting a brand.
Yeah.
Hopefully something this continues to grow, but those are the things that we want our children to do, and so that's I think that's where you're going with it.
No, that's pretty much it. And reference point, the speakers I was thinking of, it's Les Brown.
Les Brown.
My bad.
Les Miles is the former head coach of the LSU Tigers.
Correct.
And he was actually pretty good. I actually like Les. Even though I hated him on Saturdays when we played him, he was actually a pretty good coach. All right, so we're going into, I think, around 45 minutes, 46 minutes into our podcast. We're going to go into a couple of other segments. We've talked about Cobra Kai, the California bill. We talked about brainwashing our children, and coming up with stronger kids, which leads us into our alpha of the week. Our alpha of the week this week is something I found on something I sent to David earlier this week. And I said, dude, check out this video. This guy is our alpha of the week. David's going to give us a rundown, but basically it's the Chick-fil-A kid. This dude just wrecks this guy who is trying to to abduct. I shouldn't say abduct. To take carjack. Yeah,
he's trying to carjack. Let me do the thing. Let me do this. So this is coming from the Daily Wire. A Florida employee of Chick-fil-A. Now I want to say, Chick-fil-A. If this happened at any other fast food restaurant, Wendy's, Burger King, Taco Bell, McDonald's, this would not be happening. Those employees would be out there holding the phone or taking selfies with you. I can promise you Chick-fil-A employees are top-notch. So a Florida employee at Chick-fil-A rushed to the rescue of a mother and her baby when a man attempted to carjack the mother's car, police announced Wednesday. Michael Gordon, that's spelled M-Y-K-E-L, Gordon, ran toward the mother's car after she had taken her child out of the car, and William Branch, 43, brandishing a stick, allegedly seized her keys from her waistband. Branch then got in the car as the woman screamed for help, prompting Gordon to yank Branch out of the car and struggle with him on the ground until police could arrive. What do you think?
Michael Gordon?
Yeah.
Alpha of the week.
Alpha of the week, bro.
I cannot believe that this is exactly what we should be seeing across the country.
Yeah.
Too many people are bringing out their cell phones. That's exactly what we're seeing. You said McDonald's or a Wendy's.
Right.
Is that what they're doing? Is this what they're doing?
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on?
Well, and when we were coming up with this concept with the Raising Alphas, I remember one event that took place that was national news over in Philadelphia on a subway, where there was a woman that was raped on the train,
right,
by a homeless man, with people on that train, on the cart, just watching it happen or just taking video of it. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? One of the main roles of being a man is to protect the vulnerable. What's more vulnerable than a woman being raped on a train, or what's more vulnerable than a mom with her baby being carjacked? You got to take action on stuff like this.
And that's what's going on right now. Is like this is happening in broad daylight. These are the things that you used to see.
This is Escape from New York stuff. Remember
but wasn't that happening in the evenings?
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
I mean, if you look back at any of these 80s, 90s films, I mean, the guys are usually, this is happening at night.
Yeah.
Look, I'm thinking about like the movie The Crow with Brandon Lee now.
Oh yeah.
They're like those things that happened on the night. It happened. The things that happened at night.
Yeah.
This is happening in broad daylight at Chick-fil-A. You know, you're getting robbed and carjacked. Thank God. Michael Gordon?
Michael Gordon.
Thank God for people like Michael Gordon who come to the rescue and put, in a way, he put his life out there.
He had no idea. He could have had a knife on him.
He could have had a knife.
Maybe
He could have had a gun. There's no what.
Absolutely. And
I don't know how old Michael is. I don't know if
I would have Chick-fil-A employee. I'm going to guess high schooler.
Possibly, and that makes it even better that we're seeing that a young kid taking action. Now, you know that Chick-fil-A is probably going to give this guy a raise. Chick-fil-A better be giving this guy a raise.
Yeah. Give him a
free
franchise.
chicken sandwiches
Give him a
for
franchise.
life.
Give him a franchise.
No, that's even better
Franchise.
idea. Yeah, he should be a store a manager, a store owner now.
That's right.
But Michael Gordon is definitely our alpha of the week because that's what it takes in this society. That's why we're such a great country, is because of people like Michael Gordon.
Seeing something and doing something.
Seeing something and doing something, reacting, not standing there with his cell phone capturing the next greatest clickbait that you're going to put on the internet. But while we would have never known about Michael had it not been the person that had put it on social media, it's necessary that someone gets involved. Unfortunately, you hear about these cases, these instances where people get involved and they do end up losing their life.
That's scary. That sucks.
That does happen, unfortunately. But we do need more people like this, and I think if we had more people in the world that reacted like Michael, maybe we would have less people acting like this other clown that tried to jump in there. You know, they're not scared. You know, these people in our society, these evils that lurk in our societies are not scared because no one does anything. No one stands up to them. No one punches them in the mouth. You know, that could be taken, literally, or could be taken figuratively. You know, but no one punches these people in the mouth, and that's a problem. Is because you have these cases where this is happening every day all around the world, but around our country, and no one is doing a darn thing. And this is something that we applaud Michael Gordon.
Hey, I'll do it. Salute you, Michael Gordon. Great job, man.
Great job. You are our alpha of the week, and we thank you for being so brave, so courageous. It's people like you, that we have to have in this society in order to progress and to be safe.
Yeah.
No, to be safe. Yeah. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
You know,
I know we've talked about before, but we need to get a T-shirt design for Alpha of the Week. And like, bro, we'll hashtag you, we'll tag you in this, see if you get it. Reach out to us, man. Verify it's you. Once we got that shirt, we'll send you one.
Yeah, if you guys know Michael Gordon, and I love to go to Chick-fil-A, but if you know Michael Gordon from Chick-fil-A, in what part of town?
Let me go back to it. I gotta go back. Keep talking.
I know he's here in Florida, but if we go down, if someone out there knows Michael Gordon and he can get a hold of us, the Raising Alphas Project, we would love to talk to him. We would love to have him on the show.
Oh yeah, Okaloosa County though.
Oh, there it is, Michael. Look us up. Find us. We would love to talk to you.
Absolutely, buddy.
So, going to our next segment, Beta of the Week, WEAK, week.
People never cease to amaze me.
Never cease to amaze me. So we are talking about Ken Burns, referencing Hitler when he describes our great governor of Florida, flying immigrants over to Martha's Vineyard,
which was supposed to be the very blue but very accepting island of Martha's Vineyard.
So, David, take us away. Tell us about Ken Burns.
Ken Burns, he's a filmmaker, does documentaries. He has one coming out called The U.S. and the Holocaust, which, from the sound of it, from what I read about it, it looks like it is bashing U.S., saying we could have done more or something. But we're not going to get into that. One to never miss a moment to promote his new documentary. He says, well, 50 illegal immigrants being shipped to the wonderful vacation island of Martha's Vineyard is basically like the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
So he compared.
Yeah, that sounds like people being burned alive.
I
That
mean,
someone's being gassed and raped and taken from their homes. And,
Ship me to Martha's Vineyard.
huh?
Ship me to Martha's Vineyards. Let's go. I'll go.
I'll go.
But so he decides to compare this to the Holocaust, and this is the type of rhetoric that piss people off.
Well, it's that same brainwashing thing that we're still hearing.
Extreme hyperbolic rhetoric. There's there's nothing to justify it. You're just looking for clickbait, and it's sickening, man. It's sickening to talk about an event that occurred in the world's history not too long ago,
Right.
and to compare it to something like this.
Actually, you're looking at almost 100 years now.
So yeah, wow.
I mean,
Wow.
when you look at the Holocaust, I mean, yes, it happened in the 30s and 40s, but I mean, it's coming up to 100 years.
Mhm.
You look at World War I happened, we're right at 100 years now.
Yeah.
And so this isn't far. 100 years ago, we did just lose the Queen of England. She was not involved, but she was around during that whole time over there. So
I'm certain she was around for the Revolutionary War too. I'm positive.
it's possible. It's possible. But those are things, really, they got a taste of their own medicine. Because exactly what's been going on here in the state of Florida, what's been going on in Texas, what's been going on in Arizona, what's been going on in California, what's been going on in all these different states where it's a border state and it's affecting those communities. It's affecting those the minority communities.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: when you have people that are coming across the country, thousands upon thousands, they still have to get jobs. Those people are taking jobs from Americans. Now, I'm not opposed to having people come to this country. My wife is an immigrant. We have gone through the legal process so she can be here and work. We have been together, and I mentioned it the other day on a podcast, for 20 years. So there is a way to do it.
We can both agree too that the process may be a little complicated. Could use some overhauling as far as the legal. I don't
challenge that.
But you do it the right way, man. Like,
sure,
come on,
it can be done.
Come contribute to this society.
That's
fantastic.
My boys are dual citizens, and we had to go through the legal process to make them a dual citizen.
I'm sure it's tedious.
It's expensive. It's tedious. You gotta do a lot of stuff. But my wife and I, when we were first married, that's not we didn't have a ton of money. She moved here. It was a single income, and I did what I did to support her and myself, and as newlyweds. And now we have children, and through hard work, we have now been able to make a life of our own and to have nice things. But it's taken a long time. So I'm not opposed to people coming here. I'm just opposed to people coming here illegally. I mean, when you look at some of the interviews that's been going on in Martha's Vineyard that's happened over this last week, they'll tell you that it's easy to come across. There was no issue coming across.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's just a taste of their own medicine. Now, people are going to talk trash about the governor. I think he's giving them a taste of their own medicine. Look, this is what's going on. Fix it.
And it's it's politics. It's petty politics. There's a bit of trolling in there too. And I'm not completely against something like that. Preferably, what I would rather have is when they get caught in this country illegally, you just ship them back to where they came from. But I see the game he's playing. I'd rather they go back, be sent to their country. But I see what he's doing. He's exposing the double standards.
The double standard, the hypocrisy, and I think the reason he may have done this, and I don't know what goes on and why he makes decisions. I think it's hilarious that he done it. I think he's trying to make a point.
Yeah.
And by making a point is that these people, when they come across, they have been detained. They have been sent back to their countries, especially if they're ones that are not really seeking as refugees or seeking asylum. They have been sent back, to their countries. They just come back.
They just keep coming back.
They keep coming back. They commit
crimes.
They steal. They steal. They kill. They do things to Americans. Take jobs away from them. And I don't agree with all that. So to say that he is doing this to make a point, the point is that I don't think there's any objection to getting someone here that needs to be here. They're looking for a better, we've got lots of land here, for looking for a better way of life. That's what America was founded on.
Correct.
Is immigrants coming here. And so I don't think anyone's doing that. But this brainwashing that continues to just meet from the moment our kids are put into school all the way until they graduate, and then when they go into their professional careers, and then the things that you see on television. As we talked about earlier, we talked about Cobra Kai. We talked about this guy, Ken Burns, who is a producer, a filmmaker. And his rhetoric going on is just brainwashing more of society, and those are the things that we have to start looking into.
And you know what you get with all this brainwashing when they turn into adults?
What?
You get more Ken Burns.
More Ken Burns,
more betas.
So Ken Burns is our beta of the week, and we spell that WEAK. You are a weak individual. You are a beta person and a beta male. So guess what? You just want a shirt. So.
Verify yourself. We'll send it to you.
We'll send you beta of the week. All right. So we've been talking for a little over an hour. Hopefully we can get everything looking good for everybody as they're seeing this for the first time. Where can they find us?
So you can find us on Instagram, as always, RaisingAlphas_project. We have our website, RaisingAlphaProject.com. We have our shirts. We got hats now, and I know it's just the two of us on here wearing the shirts. It isn't just a male thing. We have our female shirts as well. Our wives wear them. Raising an alpha isn't just a male thing. We need strong mama bears as well to be raising these young men and women. Where else? So we have we got the Instagram. Lost my train of thought. We're on Telegram. I'm personally on Instagram at David Panzik. Same handle with Twitter, Getter. We have our group Facebook page, Raising Alphas Project. We don't have a lot of activity on there just yet, but we do plan on having that being more of a way to interact more personally with the followers as we continue to grow, ask questions, things of that nature. Anything you can think of that I may have missed?
So we have done a couple public events. We're getting ready to do one at the in Sanford. It's the Freedom at the Oasis. You can find that on our website. I'm going to have that posted on our website. It's on September the 30th at 7 p.m. I will be out there speaking. David will be out there selling shirts. Yeah. We'll have things for you guys to reference. If you guys need to talk to us,
take a picture.
Yeah. If you guys want to meet us, if you guys want to have an event for us to speak at, we would love to be a part of your event. We'd love to be a part of your podcast. So please share, like, subscribe, do all those things. I was talking to my mom earlier today. She's probably going to hear this when it comes out, but the biggest thing is share, like, comment. Those are things that get the algorithms going. And we did have on Jira's almost 4,500 views. I know that's not a lot. That's a lot for us. So that's something that we're looking at and growing. So continue to share, like, subscribe, make a comment. And we would love to have your support by purchasing shirts and other merchandise.
And when these videos are going to be up on YouTube now on our channel, and we'll see how long we last on YouTube. Oh, and we got the Rumble account too that will have the videos up too. But I think do an over-under on how long it takes till we get banned from YouTube.
Probably won't even be on there. All right. So anyways, thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thank you guys.
Okay.
An alpha is confident, disciplined, focused. They take charge and lead. Raising an alpha means developing basic traits and qualities. Alpha instincts. Taking care of the ones you love and looking after the ones you protect. We make decisions to inspire others, command our troops from the front lines. These make up strong alphas. We are persistent, patient, respectful. We have the ability to communicate well, to strive for the best, to win. We raise them to win. This is the Raising Alphas Project.